Hi, everyone. This is immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining episode 183 with a great colleague, Jared Jaskot, a bot maker and immigration attorney. You may have saw him, previously on the show. He does a lot of interesting stuff, so I wanted to bring him back on. One is because he, was kind enough to include an article in the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine. You could download that and access that for free at www.immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine. He has great info on marketing and stuff, which is very vital to Facebook marketing. A lot of firms, that's their bread and butter is doing Facebook ads. So something important to at least have some working knowledge on it. And so read that article for sure. And so he's here. He also has a bot that's really interesting. I want to talk about what's happening new with that. He got some funding recently, I think, from the state of Maryland, but he'll give you more info on that. I also want to thank all the sponsors for the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine. IMMI Translate, Immigration Finder, Journey, Business Plans, and DocuWise. DocuWise being a sponsor of the podcast as well. DocuWise has a 10% off their annual plan, additional 10% off by using my code. Go to DocuWise.com/immigration-lawyers-podcast. Use the code Immigration Lawyers Podcast. And DocuWise is constantly coming out with new stuff. I just got the email that they have a integration with QuickBooks or Quicken, those kind of software. Definitely check it out. There's so many more stuff there. I can't even begin to scratch the surface right now. But with that, Jared, how you doing?
Hey, John, great to see you as always, man. You're just doing so much good for the community of immigration lawyers. Thanks for making the magazine. Thanks for including me. Thanks for inviting me today. I feel lucky to know you, John.
I appreciate that. Same here. And I was talking to Roman actually a couple hours ago. We went live, and he's doing his conference, and I think you're going to be speaking at the conference as well. Is that right?
Definitely. What's your topic?
No, I didn't get a topic. He didn't invite me. I don't know why. But he's kind enough. I'm going, definitely check it out. I'm going to be listening. I'm in the process of moving right now, so my life's going to be hectic for the next 2 weeks. I thought that closing the mortgage and that stuff was crazy. Now the actual move is going to be a real pain in the butt. Hopefully it'll be done by end of month.
Wow, that is tough. Have you already packed everything?
Not yet. And I'm just like dreading it. It's like a nightmare. Like, oh, all this stuff, and it's just more and more stuff. Last time we moved, the company was really cool. They brought these big boxes and dumped a bunch of stuff in there for us. So hopefully they'll do that again. And I'm like, if it breaks, I don't care. As long as I don't have to pack. but so what are you going to be talking about at the conference?
Facebook domination.
Okay.
My co-panelist, Katya, that I invited on, she was in December. I'm not sure, I haven't asked her in January, but she's definitely been the #1 immigration lawyer on Facebook in terms of engagement, a number of months. And so, I think it's really cool from my perspective to think about, there's a lot of influencers out there that are trying hard. What does it take to be #1? And what are the lessons that a person going for #1 that you and I can take and, become number 42, become number 57. There's still a lot of value. You can still build a really big business if you're not #1, but all the things that #1 does, I think, can help all of us in our own efforts.
Her consistency really inspired me to go do a lot of more video and content, just seeing like day in, day out, every morning, put it out there. It's not, you don't just come #1. On YouTube, she's probably number 3 or 4 top subscriber count. And I'm looking forward to talking with her as well. I'll have to connect me. We may be on a panel at this AILA conference here. Not sure if it's finalized yet, but that's going to be really interesting. So, your article was included marketing and Facebook marketing in the Toolbox magazine. And that's something your firm uses regularly. Is this thing that Apple did where they're not going to let you track or something like that? Have you seen that affecting things at all? Or has that been a big deal? Has it been the argument getting that the marketers haven't put it out to be?
We don't really I think that some of what we do with our marketing, we're not really as aggressive on the personal details, I think, as some other marketers. I'm not I don't really want to be that invasive. I certainly have a philosophy in my marketing of thinking if this were ever made a news story and my clients and potential clients were to read it, I don't want them to look at me in a bad light. So I'm not trying to do anything sneaky.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's not even for sneaky, but it could be off-putting at people as retargeting, all that kind of stuff. But if it works as it's working, then that's good. And your firm handles, SIGIS claims, kind of removal defense as well.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, our case types sort of go SIJS, U visa, asylum, family.
Okay, so you're dealing with traumatic experiences every day.
It's so true, right? It's it's not during COVID, but right. Usually it would be probably a minimum of 3 or 4 people crying in our office on a daily basis.
Oh my, oh my, that's intense. Well, you help them, they're smiling and laughing at the end of the process once you get done helping them. So, what is the plans for your firm? I mean, obviously you have the bot. We're talking about that in a moment. But when it comes to marketing in 2021, Facebook is a big part of your program. The bot actually works best with Facebook. It's integrating with other parts. But what plans do you have for business and marketing for your firm in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I want to do, this is going to sound crazy, John, but and I need a little bit of help from President Biden and Congress for this to be true. But we're releasing probably next week, we're going to be dropping TPS bot, and it's going to actually be able to ink retainers with your potential clients. And of course, you're going to have it in your bot as well, John. And it's going to be able to sign people and get a down payment from them to actually do TPS with your firm. So the bot's actually going to go out there and be a closer for you. Wow. And so in my own firm, my goal is to do 10,000 cases this year.
Whoa. I mean, is that, are those numbers the kind of things that you were doing previously, or is that like some huge jump up?
It's going to be a big jump, John, right? It's going to be a real big jump. I mean, I think that we would probably average, somewhere. This is our current average, is about $5,000 to $15,000 in value of cases, right? And these cases we're going to be looking at somewhere between $800 and $1,500. So we're coming way down in cost, but we're looking to go way up in volume. And I think the reason for that is that the shape of the immigration market in 2021 is going to change dramatically. It's going to go from complex and hard to simple and fast.
Yeah. And this both because the technology and because potentially if they have these pathways for DACA and TPS people, they're going to overcome a lot of the hurdles with not needing waivers, for example, and that kind of stuff, which opens up the process.
That's exactly right. And I mean, if you look at the numbers, John, of the people that are actually in these different categories, I mean, Venezuela TPS is 300,000. Central American TPS, I mean, it could be like between 1 and 3 million. It's sort of like tough to know some of that data, but it's certainly over 1 million people. Then if you have an adjustment for DACA, adjustment for current TPS, each of those groups sitting in the 700,000 to 800,000 range, and then finally that big path, that's going to be anywhere between 10 and 15 million people. There's only probably 10,000 immigration attorneys in the United States that do what we do, John. Like the numbers that we're going to have to push out of our firms is going to be crazy.
Yeah, one thing, the timing of the toolbox was a gamble to bring it out right near at least planning it when the election was happening, because it went Trump way, it'd be really bad. But now the Biden way, there's a lot of people going to be starting to call themselves immigration lawyers. Some of them just, screw people over and take money, but some of them really want to help, and there's a good market. So a lot of place for training and just getting the information out and learning how to connect with people and how to deal with the amount of volume, which your bot actually helps out with. How's the integrations going? I know you're adding some other ways to go on. So Facebook is the primary method you'll hook in, and people using it should probably, like the customer side, would be logging on to their Facebook account many times. But there is integration with WhatsApp, and I think you're talking about Facebook's be opening up for some other system to be able to connect with. Is that correct?
So we have SMS now as well, or text message. So we have text, WhatsApp, and Facebook. And we're going to be adding, by the end of March, Google My Business, which I think is pretty cool. Wow. Yeah. And we're gonna have a web bot. So in that middle package, you're going to be able to have 5 different channels that your bot's on. And we're hoping for Instagram, but Facebook is being really slow with the API. So I'm thinking probably Q2 for Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram would be neat, but yeah, I understand that. Now you run a practice, we have partners to help out a lot, but you're spending a lot of time on the bot, which speaks both English and Spanish. And like, how much of your firm practice is people go through a bot to be able to get to you, or is it dependent on the lead source that they find you on, that they connect with the bot to come through?
Yeah, I think, at this point, probably the bot represents, 70% of the initial contacts. And then, the rest would be phone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got your hands full of really just ramping up, and we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, the 15 million, you never know. Reagan came in and did amnesty. No one expected that. You never know. I'm always cautious. I'm not to bulk up too much, because under Obama, we had a lot of this talk, this stuff's going to happen. All we really got was DACA, and DAPA really never happened. Some states try to push back on the injunction, the stopping of the public charge. Well, thank God that's done. I'm like doing consultations now, and just not having to think about the I-944 is such a breath of relief. I'm like, okay, you make enough money, the U.S. citizen, we're done. We don't need to dive into all that crazy extra paperwork that really didn't make any difference for the protections I was intended to provide. But that's such a relief, and my packets are back to normal now. I don't have to get boxes now when I mail the government something. That's a big relief. So you're ramping up the marketing and everything like that. And what's going on with the bot? I mean, you've got funding and a lot of attention. What is the official name? I keep calling it the bot, but what is the official name of the company and the bot that you use?
It's called Yotengbot.
Yotengbot.
It started as Yotengbot. It was a brand that I was kind of pushing, but then I found, as I sort of went through the go to market on that brand, I realized that attorneys didn't want to buy leads from me, but that the lead funnel that I had created could be of great value to people like you, influencers. So that's why I sort of pivoted to a white label product that now serves different immigration law firms in the United States and Canada.
We have Dion Winter.
Hey, that's a client. She's got a really great bot. Her numbers are spectacular.
And Deanna, we have to have her on the show. One of our colleagues follows her religiously on that new app Clubhouse, which I don't have an iPhone, so I can't get, but she's been doing wonderful on there. I hear. So Deanna, if you're watching, definitely got to connect and get you to talk about your academy. But thanks for watching. So yeah, a lot of the community is learning about it and raving reviews. Facebook is not the place I do most of my marketing. I'm more of a YouTube person, and yes, she does. So Deani Winter, I don't know. I wish I say your Clubhouse name so we could plug it for people that are that go on to Deani. Facebook is such, especially if you're doing a lot of cases, you're talking about a lot of the TPS, a lot of those kind of people will be using Facebook. Hopefully, I'm not sure how YouTube integration would happen with YouTube, but that'd be a good spot to put it there.
We have a little beta we've been playing with that. You know how, John, your bot can like answer people's questions with videos you've made?
Yeah.
Well, so we're gonna probably add, I bet in April, where we can feed them YouTube videos of things you've answered as well.
I think you already have that, don't you? Yeah, you have the YouTube within YouTube or within Facebook.
Within it's just pulling Facebook content right now, not YouTube.
Yeah, because I put my YouTube videos on Facebook. That's why it's my YouTube videos that I just take the raw.
You like upload them natively, which is the strategy. But it would be nice if we could pull that data in for you as well and serve that. Here's the thing that I think every YouTube influencer should be doing, and frankly, some on LinkedIn as well. I haven't seen anyone do it yet, but I want to see one of my customers do it. It's just right, on the bottom and the top side, everywhere. Text me. Here's my number. Just put your bot's SMS number right there and get people to text you. Just
interesting.
Text. People love text. Call to action right there on YouTube. There's no reason that people shouldn't be saying text me all the time.
I didn't realize you could do that, and so that's something I'm going to use. And I've been looking at text message marketing. It's just something like that. I see that Gary Vee always has his phone number and stuff. And there's like these crazy stuff where it's like the prices are for, if you have 1,000-person list and you want to send the text, all of a sudden the prices jump up really quickly. Yeah. But in this
Tati and I sent a blast the other day that cost $115, and we were both kind of like, whoa, this is touching the third rail here.
Surprisingly, DocuWise just introduced a mass text message program, and it's part of your plan. I'm not sure how the cost feature is going to work out on that for them, and how open it is but that's an interesting thing to have. So with Yotengbot, you would have a number, they would text us, and then we would text them back. Is it per text charges, or how does that work?
Yeah, so your bot, it looks exactly like the Facebook bot in terms of it's texting with them, all the same stuff, but obviously via, text message rather than Facebook Messenger. Mm-hmm. There is a cost, and it ends up being like 1 cent per segment. Most texts are around 1 segment. If you get really wordy, you can go past 1 segment. So there is some small cost.
What does 1 segment mean?
It's a number of characters. Like you can kind of think of it as like Twitter sort of thing. Like, like if you decide to send a novel out and broadcast, that might be 3 or 4 segments. But if you keep it punchy, which you should do in conversational marketing, keep it short, go against your legal instincts. You can stay within one segment. And like you've seen, John, the conversions that we can get, like with the price points we're at as attorneys, even with just prepaid consults, 1 cent per message, a 16-cent conversation. This is nothing to an attorney compared to the conversion that they could get.
Yeah, definitely. So there's just so many ways to do this all, but you got to do them all pretty much if you really want to launch a hardcore, super kind of law firm getting all these leads, because it just leave money on the table. So you're going to be discussing Facebook ads at the conference. I'm sure you're going to discuss your bot as well, which integrates with it. And what else going on? Any other thoughts of 2021? What's in the store?
I think that there's going to be, I think about here, and I'll say it to my other immigration attorneys, game on, in terms of like, the number of cases that I'm telling you, John, they don't just represent, like, it's not just get TPS for people now. This is a lifetime value situation. We have, 10 to 20 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. If you get their case this year and you do a good job for them, that could be worth $5 to $15 million lifetime value. And that's really why I want to go out there and get so many of them, so that I can be their lawyer when they petition for their spouse, when they petition for their mom, when they petition for their kids, when their kids petition for their spouses. Like, this is the opportunity. So, I think like this is the moment that immigration lawyers need to realize, step up, go for it. This is the year.
That you just brought up something that's what I hear the most when people think about immigration law, especially non-immigration lawyers. They think immigration law is a one and done clientele. It's like you constantly have to get a new lead, get that, close that. But I just I've said 1,000 times, if not more, immigration clients are long-term clients because there's multiple steps. And there's family-based, there's naturalization, they become employers, they apply. So relationships with immigration lawyers and the client last 10, 15, 20 years. And I learned that because I worked for a guy when I started. He started in the late 70s, and he was still connecting with clients from 1981. They were still sending in cases. The guy was 18, got a green card citizenship. His kid grew up, became like 20. He got married to the foreign person, still doing a marriage case in 2000, or 2005, from a client from 1981. So it's not what people think it is about immigration law. These are long-term clients that stay with you, and there's multiple pieces of business. Just a marriage case that leads from I-751, it's always a nice little thing where all of a sudden a year and a half goes by, like, oh, it's I-751 preparation time, removal of conditions. What a additional, money right here. And then naturalization after that, then file for their parents. So it's such a good practice because you could really build it, like you said. Lifetime value does go in the millions for cases. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in 21, John?
The magazine really, just the incoming flow of potential cases leads to more lawyers learning about this stuff, and really pushing the magazine and getting this kind of knowledge and education and connecting and getting more involved in the policy of immigration law, how it's written, the thoughts that go out. I want to get more involved in making a more coherent system. It's very difficult to do it. With the practice, I might be eventually hiring someone to help me out. Because all the parking,
you're gonna lose the solo.
Maybe to a certain extent, very nuanced parts of it, because there's just so much business coming in, and it's just hard. The magazine takes so much time, in the podcast and all this kind of stuff, and it's not really a money maker in that sense. With the amount of money, if I was doing this video right now talking about, hey, I could do a marriage case, go to TPS, I'll get a client out of it. This will lead to potentially a sponsor, something like that. But it's more passion. This is what I always want to do, is get involved in media and culture and education and entertainment. So that intersection is here, and I'm just getting better at it. So growing this while having the practice on the side and continuing that, and then seeing what's going to look at the end of 21 to plan out 2022. But eventually this kind of mass communication media is the direction my life is going to be taking. But who knows? With the world, you never thought you'd be locked in your house for almost 2 years. So you never know what to expect in this world.
So true. Well, I'm happy to hear that you're growing your firm. That's really good news.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kicking and screaming to do it. I'm sure I'm going to be really. I'm going to look back and be like, why did I do it sooner? But I just need some support. It's starting to get overwhelming. But then finding the support is really tricky. How to judge and people's lives and information, confidentiality, all this kind of stuff, and especially because it's going to be probably a remote job or something like that. So it's kind of like, how do I know this person? All those issues that pop up. But everyone does it, so it's not like it's impossible. It's very possible. So they're going to be doing that. But thanks for asking. Yeah, it's I've said it out loud for the first time probably. So that's interesting to see how it's all going to work out. Jared, if people want to connect with you, learn about the bot, or just talk with you about your firm, what are the best ways to reach you?
I love LinkedIn, John. I'm always on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I know that some people are like, I only connect with certain people. I'm not that guy. I will take your connection. I love connecting with everybody. Everybody can learn there. If you wanna get a bot, you can go to yotengo.bot. That's my website. You can get a bot. We got some new pricing coming out. It's going to be a little bit more attractive, I think, we're going to come out. We got an $89 a month plan we're dropping for solos that want to kind of get a come up going. And yeah, I would love to chat with anybody. The TPS thing is going to be hot. And the thing is, people need to get ready for these big moments. Like Biden could introduce TPS for El Salvador tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
It's too late when it happens to plug these automations in to capture all this business. And we know that in immigration, a huge number of the cases can happen in a couple of days because it's a news-driven industry. So,
I mean, Venezuela came out of nowhere, especially on the East Coast. I had only one call for it, but I'm sure the East Coast, where there's more numbers, it's probably or south.
We had one too, but I'm about to bang a big campaign on Facebook and see if I can turn that into 100.
Because it doesn't make sense. Every Venezuelan should be applying for TPS. It makes no sense not to. It's just like a no-brainer.
I heard that they were getting some. I've heard that they've been turning to the notarios pretty heavily in South Florida.
Probably, yeah. Florida is always a wild card.
But, I'm a Floridian, John.
Oh, you are? The Florida man. You heard the Florida man stories. Always some fun stuff going on over there.
It's my childhood.
What part of Florida?
Orlando.
Okay, Orlando that's got some crazy there, but where's the wildest part of is it like the Panhandle, or what's considered the wildest part of Florida?
I would say probably the wildest part is like that central south around Lake Okeechobee and the Everglades, the swamps. You got gators, pythons, everything going on down there.
See, I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. We've had riots and earthquakes. That's what we do. I remember it was a Laker game where we won, and there were just riots in the street. And I went downtown. My friends were drinking too much. We went downtown. In the middle of it was a mess. I was like, "What am I doing here?" But that's LA life. Well, stay on the line real quick. I do have to bounce it too. I'm going to talk a couple minutes with you. But say everybody who listened, thank you so much. Check out the bot. Get more information on that. Be prepared for the tsunami that's going to be coming for immigration law. Thanks again, Jared.
Thanks, John.